Okay, so we live in this incredible age, right? We can map black holes, we can literally edit our own DNA. You'd think, with all that the biggest questions would have scientific answers by now. And yet, there's this one ancient concept, God, that just refuses to go away. So, what's going on here? Today, we're going to break down why this idea is still such a powerful and pretty much unavoidable reference point for almost everyone, whether you're a believer or not.
First, let's just appreciate the journey we've been on as a species. I mean, we went from chipping away at flint to create basic tools, all the way to imaging a supermassive black hole at the center of our galaxy. And you see this pattern over and over again. We encounter a mystery, and we use our brains. We use science to figure it out. It's this incredible, unstoppable march of knowledge.
And we've used that brain power to crack some of the universe's deepest secrets. This isn't just a guess. We have calculated with incredible precision that the universe is about 13.8 billion years old. Just let that sink in for a second. We put a birthday on existence itself. That is just an astonishing thing for us to be able to do.
And what's so amazing is that our understanding works on every scale imaginable. We've peered out into the vastness of space, mapping the cosmic web of galaxies, and at the same time, we've drilled all the way down into the quantum realm to find the fundamental bits and pieces, like the Higgs boson, that literally stitch the fabric of reality together. So you can see what's happening here, right? As the bubble of our scientific knowledge got bigger and bigger, it started to answer questions that, for thousands of years, were really only answered by religion. The more science could explain, it seemed like the less room there was for mystery, and for a lot of people, the less room there was for God.
And this created a really clear shift in how we explain the world. Things like, what shape is the Earth, or how do planets move? Those questions moved firmly over into this science column. And that process kind of left the concept of God to explain only the biggest, most out there mysteries, what some people call a God of the gaps, an explanation for whatever we just don't know yet.
Which, of course, brings us to the big question. If science has done such a good job explaining our world, has it made the whole idea of God, well, meaningless? Is it an obsolete concept? What's left for it to even do?
But here's where it gets really, really interesting. The idea of God hasn't just faded away, not even close. In fact, it's still this incredibly powerful, almost inescapable point of reference for basically everyone, from the most devout believers to the most committed atheists.
So if it's not just about explaining why the thunder roars anymore, how are we using this concept today? Why do we all keep talking about God? Let's dig into the different ways we invoke that idea in our modern world.
Well, it seems to pop up in a few key moments. We use the idea when we feel that sense of cosmic wonder, when we look up at the stars and ask, what came before the Big Bang? We use it when we see the mind-blowing complexity of life and wonder, could this all be an accident, or was there an intelligent designer? And we definitely use it for those deep, personal experiences that science just doesn't have a good language for yet.
And hey, it's not just for the spiritually inclined. Even Albert Einstein, one of the greatest scientific minds ever, famously used the G word. He said God does not play dice, to express how much he disliked the randomness of quantum physics. For him, God was a shorthand for a deep, fundamental order in the universe.
And that idea connects perfectly to this really cool concept called Spinoza's God, which a lot of scientists are drawn to. Now, this isn't about a person in the sky pulling levers. The idea here is that God is the system itself. It's the elegant laws of physics, the mathematical equations, the underlying operating system of the entire universe, a God of pure natural order.
And this is why you just can't get away from the idea. For billions of people, God is a very real, personal being they have a relationship with. For an atheist, well, God is the central idea they define themselves in opposition to, and for countless others, it's a huge philosophical debate. Is there a God of cosmic laws, or a personal God who gets involved in our lives?
So the big takeaway here is pretty clear. You cannot escape the God question. It's like we're all caught in its gravitational pull, whether we're believers, non-believers, or something in between. The idea itself just fundamentally shapes how we look at the universe.
Okay, but this brings us to an even trickier problem. When all of us use this simple three-letter word, God, are we even talking about the same thing? What or who are we actually talking about?
I mean, just think about the job description for a second. We expect this one single entity to be responsible for, what? Creating entire universes, and at the same time overseeing every single law of physics everywhere? And on top of all that, also paying close attention to the hopes and fears of billions of individual people on one tiny planet? That's a pretty wide portfolio.
It's almost like we need some kind of divine organizational chart, you know? The CEO of everything up top, then you've got your VPs of cosmic affairs, your middle managers running the galaxies, and maybe some junior staff handling planetary business. But of course, we don't really think like that. Instead, we just use that one little word, God, and we kind of collapse all these totally different massive jobs into one single concept. It becomes this ultimate catch-all term, a magical word that's supposed to explain any and every mystery, from the birth of the cosmos down to what happens to us. So, where does that leave us? We've seen how science pushed back on the traditional role of God, but the concept is still this powerful reference point for all of us. Which leaves us with a final thought to chew on. Is God just the current name we give to that box of mysteries we haven't solved yet? And if it is, what happens when, or if, we finally manage to make that box empty?